What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today I want to talk about my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch and its shockingly tiny launch lineup. This new console is coming out in just a few days and pre-orders are sold out everywhere, but quietly people are whispering that this might be another Wii U. The problem is that while the Switch has a lot of interesting ideas built into it, there are only going to be 12 games releasing with this system, half of which are just ports of much older titles. Personally, I have my console reserved, so I'm definitely getting it no matter what. And yet, my fear is that everyone will be excited for Zelda Breath of the Wild, but then forget about the Switch until the new Mario. That could seriously be an 8-month gap between major Nintendo projects. Their company badly needs to come up with a ton more games and get them on store shelves as fast as possible, and not stuff like 1-2 Switch. Just for some perspective, the PlayStation 4 had 25 titles on release day, Xbox One had 22, and even the Wii U had 32, nearly 3 times the size of their new system's launch library. In a recent interview, the president of Nintendo, Tatsumi Kimishima, said that this is actually on purpose. The plan is to have a first-party title come out every 100 days for the rest of the year to lock fans into the habit of using the Switch, but that feels like an extremely big gamble. This also seems like a weird way to control their audience, only allowing them to play things when Nintendo cares enough to take it out of their vault, even though some of them are already certainly finished. If this trick works, there's a chance that the Switch will be a massive hit, that is if everyone hasn't sold their system by December. What many companies try and ignore is sellback rates. This is the number of people who are trading your hardware in at gaming shops versus the men and women who are buying your tech new. It's a very important thing to keep track of because essentially, for every person that gets bored of Zelda and throws away their Switch before something like Splatoon 2 comes out means that there's one less new customer that Nintendo is getting money from with a console purchase. The main reason the Switch costs $300 is due to the fact that they're really trying to maximize their profit on the machine itself. That's also why we aren't getting 1-2 Switch as a pack-in game, even though that's clearly what it's meant to be. It is absolutely vital that they make all the cash they can so they can reinvest it into making more games, especially because rumors are already going around that programming stuff for the Switch is very difficult, which will increase development prices significantly. I still have hope that they'll manage to pull this off though. If you want an example of a piece of gaming history that went from zero support to an overnight hit, we merely need to look back at the release of the 3DS. That probably sounds silly now considering how much this handheld exploded, but when it originally debuted, it had a lot of trouble. Its marketing was very confusing, making it appear to be a normal DS with a special 3D gimmick. It only had a few things to play, and this device cost $250. Most people are assuming that it was completely doomed, but Nintendo worked extra hard to put out a Zelda and a Star Fox super quickly to grab more interest. At this point, sales were looking better, and yet still not great, so they dropped the price down to $170, and the 3DS instantly began flying out the door. I think Nintendo is going to need to do both these things again with the Switch within the first 6 months. There is just no way that everyone is going to keep playing this system with only one big game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is nice, but that isn't exactly a console seller, and Splatoon 2 is interesting, but let's face it, it still isn't enough overall. This has been another gaming rant from DreamcastGuy. What are your thoughts on Nintendo Switch's odd choice to have such a tiny launch? Do you believe that this will be a huge hit despite its drawbacks? Let me know in the comments down below. Oh, and this is totally random, but I actually hate that Zelda Breath of the Wild has a season pass. Paying for content before it's made is really shady in my opinion. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming! Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.